The Battle of Khyber took place in the year 628 AD, 7 in the Arabian Peninsula. It was fought between the Muslims, led by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Jews of Khyber, who were the inhabitants of a town located about 95 kilometers to the north of Medina. The Jews of Khyber were known for their wealth, and they had been expelled from Medina due to their treacherous activities against the Muslims. They had also previously attacked Muslim caravans passing through their territory, causing much loss to the Muslim community. Thus, Prophet Muhammad decided to take action against them and march towards Khyber with an army of around 1,400 men. Upon reaching Khyber, the Muslims besieged the town and started to launch attacks on its fortresses. The Jews were well prepared and had fortified their positions, making it difficult for the Muslims to make any significant progress. However, the Muslims persevered, and after several days of fighting, they managed to breach the defenses of the fortresses and capture them one by one. One of the most notable moments of the battle was when Prophet Muhammad himself took part in the fighting. He was hit by a stone thrown by a Jewish fighter, which caused him to fall off his horse and break one of his front teeth. Despite this injury, he continued to lead the Muslims into battle, and they eventually emerged victorious. The Jews of Khyber were allowed to keep their land and property on the condition that they would pay tribute to the Muslims. This victory gave the Muslims control over the trade routes in the region, which helped to strengthen their position and expand their influence. The Battle of Khyber is significant for several reasons. It was one of the first battles fought by the Muslims against the Jews, and it demonstrated their ability to overcome a well-prepared and fortified enemy. It also helped to consolidate the position of the Muslims in the Arabian Peninsula and enabled them to expand their territories in the years to come. In conclusion, the Battle of Khyber was a pivotal moment in the early history of Islam. It demonstrated the strength and determination of the Muslim community under the leadership of Prophet Muhammad and helped to pave the way for the expansion of the Islamic Empire in the centuries that followed. The Battle of Khyber was a significant military encounter that took place in the 7th century between the Muslims and the Jewish tribes living in Khyber, located in present-day Saudi Arabia. The battle is notable for being one of the last major conflicts of the early Muslim era and for the strategic significance of the victory for the Muslims. In 628 CE, the Prophet Muhammad had recently signed a peace treaty known as the Treaty of Hudaybiyah with the Meccans, which allowed the Muslims to expand their influence without fear of Meccan retaliation. The Muslims turned their attention to the Jewish tribes living in Khyber, who were known for their wealth and military strength. The Jewish tribes, led by the Banu Nadir, had previously been expelled from Medina due to their treacherous behavior towards the Muslims. The Muslim army, consisting of around 1,400 soldiers, was led by the Prophet Muhammad himself. They marched towards Khyber and were met with strong resistance from the Jewish defenders. The Muslims besieged the fortresses of the Jewish tribes for over 20 days, during which time they were able to capture several key positions. The decisive moment of the battle occurred when the Muslim army attacked the fortress of Kamuz, which was defended by the Banu Nadir. The Muslims were able to breach the fortress walls and gain entry to the stronghold. The Jewish defenders fought bravely but were eventually overwhelmed by the superior numbers and battle experience of the Muslim army. The victory at Khyber was a significant milestone for the Muslims, as it allowed them to consolidate their power in Arabia and expand their influence in the region. The capture of Khyber also brought a great deal of wealth to the Muslim community, as the Jewish tribes were known for their wealth and resources. The victory at Khyber also had political and diplomatic implications. It demonstrated the military might of the Muslims and strengthened their position as a major power in the region. The defeat of the Jewish tribes also sent a message to other Arab tribes that the Muslims were a force to be reckoned with. In conclusion, the Battle of Khayber was a significant event in the early history of Islam. The victory of the Muslim army allowed them to expand their influence in the region and consolidate their power in Arabia. The capture of Khayber also brought great wealth and resources to the Muslim community. The battle demonstrated the military might of the Muslims and strengthened their position as a major power in the region.